Today, we're going to talk about getting off the drama triangle and moving into the empowerment dynamic. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the drama triangle, which I've been familiar with the drama triangle for a while now. And the drama triangle consists of a dynamic where you have a victim, a rescuer, and a persecutor. And when you're on the drama triangle, you can move from victim to rescuer to persecutor. You can move anywhere on that triangle. You can be a victim because you're placing blame and you're not setting boundaries and you have nowhere to go but either persecuting, or now you're pointing your finger at the person who you feel is victimizing you, or you can go into rescuing where you just totally drop your boundaries and go and make things right to avoid tension that you're uncomfortable with, and now you're just rescuing that person and enabling them to not take responsibility for their part. This is just one example. There's many ways that this can manifest of moving around on the drama triangle. I've been learning about an antidote to the drama triangle. This is a new concept to me. I've been showing up differently in areas where there's been conflict in my life, especially recently in this dynamic that I have with family and an event that's about to come up. And it closely mirrors a situation from my past where things turned out differently for me and caused a lot of suffering. And for a long time, I blamed one person for my suffering. And today I realized that I was responsible for my suffering. I was on the drama triangle and put myself as a victim of someone else's behaviors. And I allowed for someone else's behavior to alter some decisions that I made, which caused me to suffer. But today I could realize where I made decisions based on someone else's behavior. Because I was on the drama triangle, I was in avoidance, I was rescuing, or I was being the victim in my avoidance. And my decision resulted in me being alone when I gave birth to my second son with no advocate and suffering because of drama in my family. Today, I now can look back and say, I didn't set a boundary. I made a decision based on dealing with someone else's behavior, and then I blamed that person. When you place blame on someone else, there's nowhere to go. But when you take responsibility for how you respond to things in your environment, because we cannot control other people's behaviors. And yes, there are bad actors out there. Some of us have bad actors in our family that we have to navigate or choose to set boundaries. But when I realize that I can take responsibility for how I navigate the bad actors in my life, I'm in a place of empowerment. And instead of rescuing, instead of persecuting, or instead of being the victim, I can coach, I can challenge, I can create, I can be a creator of my reality. And these are antidotes to victimhood, persecuting, and rescuing. This is called the empowerment dynamic, credited to someone named David Emerald. He came up with this antidote to being on the drama triangle. I'm going to give some real life examples. I try not to get too much in the weeds of the story, but I do feel like stories are important because it helps you learn the concepts. I have another event coming up, and there's a little bit of anxiety about it because I have some bad actors in my family that like to make things a little bit challenging because they think about themselves versus what's good for everyone, what the main goal is. And in the past, I avoided the bad actors by being the victim and rescuing by changing plans and making myself the martyr. I suffered. I have an event coming up. I only have one guest room, and there's multiple people from my family coming. And so the people that I said may stay in my guest room are people who do not have a family here to stay with, and the others I asked to stay with their family because so that there's space for them with their family, because their family is also going to the event, and they have that option versus they don't have to get a hotel. They could stay with their family, but the people who I said yes you could stay, they only have the option of staying with me or a hotel. It's a decision I made. I feel like it's the fair decision, and I'm standing by it. Feelings are hurt by a person who just is thinking about themselves and thinking that I'm selecting someone over them and not understanding that I'm making a pragmatic decision and I'm trying to be fair. Rather than persecuting them and calling them selfish in this conversation, I decided to say to them, while they were verbally attacking me about my decision, I asked them, is it in the realm of possibility that I am not choosing so and so over you, but I am considering all of my family and trying to make a fair decision? And so when I ask that question versus persecuting and saying you're jealous or you're being selfish or something like that, attacking that person for having a limited idea and ability to see what's really going on, I'm inviting them into the conversation by asking them a question. I'm inviting them to see how they are perceiving things and consider other options or consider another perspective. And when you challenge someone versus persecute them, you shift the conversation from conflict to offering other perspectives. It doesn't mean that it will work. In my case, it didn't. But I moved from being a persecutor to a challenger, which removed me from the drama triangle and put me in an empowerment dynamic. So that's one example. Another example is this person, they got upset with me, they're ceasing communication. The old me might try to quickly change plans because the people staying at my house are like, we'll just get a hotel, or just try to work around the difficult person. But the person I am today stands firm and confident in the decision that was made and knows that it's the fair decision. So the person I am today is not going to get on the drama triangle and go and rescue someone who is being difficult. It is not my job to rescue this person. It is not my job to change this person. And it is not fair for me to persecute someone because they are unable to see an alternative perspective. Instead of rescuing, I will coach. And by coaching, meaning in this circumstance, I sit back and see what their next move is. I am not changing plans. If that person opens up communication about what they plan to do, I will be there to help them take responsibility for their behavior. I do not take responsibility for someone else's bad behavior or flawed perspective. And doing this, I am no longer a victim. I don't get to say so and so ruined this event. I get to create my reality. I get to create my environment by continuing to do what I know is right and what I know is a fair decision. And I get to create an event where I feel comfortable with who is where and how things are going. I don't tolerate someone trying to bully my decisions because they're not open to seeing other perspectives or being fair to everyone. I become a creator versus a victim. The goal is not to prove people wrong. The goal is to help people see that there are other options and other alternatives. Sometimes people are not ready for those type of relationships, and I can set boundaries, which also empowers me to create a life of peace and enjoyment versus being a victim of other people's behaviors and the things that they bring to the environment because they're unwilling to see other perspectives or cooperate. So I hope this video helped. It's really been a very huge eye opening for me to even be able to see things that way and see how getting off the drama triangle and standing firm in the empowerment dynamic is such a better way to live. And I hope I see you guys in the next video. Bye.